Hello, hello. How are you? Hello. I've missed you guys. I have missed you. Indy's here. Indy's here as well. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to be honest with his family about his name before he forces a name on our son that none of us want him to have? I don't think so. Could you imagine having a name you don't like your entire life? Change it. I'm not going to be unhappy with my name forever. So my husband's family has a male name that gets passed down through the generations. It's Andrew George. My husband was given that name at birth. So were three of his male cousins. His dad and five of his dad's cousins, then his grandpa and two of his grandpa's cousins, his great uncle and cousins, then the great great grandpa. How far we know it goes back for sure. My husband never liked his original name. He got the nickname of Sunshine in middle school, and when he started college, he started going by Sunny, and then legally changed his name after graduation to Sunny, and a middle name that he chose for himself. But he never told his family about the name change, and they all call him Andrew, and some of his siblings call him Drewy. I'm trying not to laugh because I know this is a very touchy subject, and hell, my name is considered ghetto by many of folks. So I'm trying to refrain, but my face is not. My face. When we met, my husband was always already going by Sunny, and we talked about the family name. The fact that he didn't want to pass it on, and the fact I also didn't like passing down family names as first names, and we agreed to giving our kids their own names. We also both had a thing for more unisex names, and before I was even pregnant, we had two boys' names and two girl names chosen with an order of how we would use them. Now we're pregnant and we're having a boy. My husband hasn't decided he doesn't want to upset his family. He feels like we should use the family. No, bitch. No, bitch, you didn't grow up with this weird ass motherfucking name. You not about to curse my son into the Andrew George lineage. No, you're not. No, why my son got to go through some shit that you didn't go through? You know that you went through. You know how you felt growing up with so many other people sharing your name. Why would you do that to your child if you dislike it so much? He changed his name after college. Why would you do that to your kid if you know you didn't like it? You need to be a man and talk to. Like, we made these plans beforehand. If I would have known you was going to try to force this weird ass fucking passed down name onto my child, I would have, rethought having kids with you. We agreed on this before I got pregnant, but now all of a sudden at the time has come, you want to change things. Nah, Drewy Poo. Nah, Droopy Droop. Get it together. Nope. I told him that we agreed to not use it, and he was putting me in a position to give a name that I don't like to our kid. No, the fuck you're not. You're putting me in a position to give my kid a name and then express to your family that you were too much of a punk to tell them. You put me in a position to tell on you. Before I give my child a name I don't like, I will tell on you. I will tell your entire family, oh, well, I thought it was going to be in. No. So Droopy Drew over here and I have decided that we want to give our child their own name, but he was afraid of upsetting you guys. So I decided that I would make it my responsibility to let you guys know that we are not going to be passing down the family name to our son. And then you wait. And then as they get upset, you sit there. So, right, what I'm hearing is you guys are willing to not be a part of this child's life because his name is different? No, I just want to clarify. No. Okay, so I don't understand what the problem is. Okay, good day. We're leaving now. Thank you. The fuck? Y'all be acting like people's words really, really have control over you, but their family is gonna be angry. So, question. How has them been being happy for you helped you recently? What has their happiness done for you lately? Like, I need you to like truly, truly fucking think about it. If you're afraid of making somebody angry, them being happy with you, how has it benefited you? And if the answer is not the fuck at all, or something you have to think longer than 3 seconds about, them being angry at you means fucking nothing. It means nothing. Like, absolutely not. My husband said that we could call him something different. My response to that was he wanted to deny me a say in the name and let me give our kid a name that won't be legally usable on documents. He told me his family would be pissed if we passed up on this, especially as our son will be the first grandchild. I asked him if his family's feelings and opinions were more important than mine. He said no without any hesitation, but he asked me to do this one thing for him. No. No. There's a lot of things in this world that I'll do for you, but I'm not going to give my child a name that you hate, that you changed because you disliked it so much. I'm not doing that. I told him he should try being honest with his family before forcing a name on our son that none of us want to have. He told me I didn't understand, and I told him that I did, but how could I trust him if he decided to flip the switch so hard that he's willing to pester me into doing this? He told me I wasn't being fair bringing up his name change. I told him he wasn't being fair expecting me to name my child in accordance to his family's wishes. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. When it comes to your child's name, it has to be a 2 yes situation. It has to be like a lot of things when it comes to fucking marriage and starting a family is a 2 yes situation. And a lot of you motherfuckers don't understand that. The story. Am I the asshole for choosing my daughter over my husband? My husband 40, nope, he's not 46. He ain't. My husband 64 male and I 65 female have been married for 20 years. He has 2 sons, Jason and Craig, both married. One's 41, the other's 39. I have 2 daughters, Jenna and Kiera, both married, one 38, the other 37. All of our kids are independent and living on their own. His boys have families but don't live anywhere near us. My girls recently received an inheritance from their grandfather, close to $1 million each. They're being responsible with it. One is saving a big portion of it for retirement and for her son's education. The other doesn't have kids and doesn't live near us. So this is about the one who lives close to us and has a preschool son, Kyle. My husband has gotten upset lately about the help that I'm giving Jenna with babysitting Kyle before preschool and in the afternoon 2 to 3 days a week. He's a good eater and likes things that are driving up our food bill, maybe $40 to $50 a month. My husband resents me not getting paid for the food and to a lesser degree my time. He says it isn't fair to his grandkids that they're not being treated fairly. Your grandkids don't live nearby. I suggested he send his grandkids money for treats each month. He told me he wants me to charge Jenna and then so that he would not have to give his grandkids anything. I don't want to charge Jenna anything. I don't think that grandparents should charge for childcare or for food. He gets aggravated if he sees a new coloring book or markers here. He seizes with rage at times if I invite Jenna's family for a meal. Your husband is money hungry. He knows that your girls receive this money, so now he feels like he should be able to charge them for everything. Because if you said you guys have been together for 20 years, and they recently received a big inheritance from their grandfather. So this is something that's just now starting, and he's angry. He wants to try to get as he can out of your daughter. Because the comment, it's not fair to my grandkids when your grandkids don't live around. How the fuck is it not fair for me to see and babysit my grandson, but your grandkids don't fucking live around? How are we supposed to fucking babysit kids who don't live in our state? Probably not even on this side of the country. Like, sir, are you fucking kidding me? He gets aggravated if he sees a new coloring book or markers here. He seethes with rage at times if I invite Jenna's family for a meal. He thinks Jenna, and to a lesser degree Kiera, should be helping us instead of hoarding their money. It's their money. This was an inheritance. He also gets very agitated about me not telling him if Kyle is going to be here. He says that he doesn't feel like it's his home and that I make all the decisions. He's up our marriage over the unfairness of the situation. Some information on our finances. Money isn't plentiful, but we both have pretty good pensions. After our bills are paid, we have between $2,000 and $3,000 a month to spend on groceries, gas, and other miscellaneous expenses. We have very minimal savings. He travels to see kids maybe 2 to 3 times a year. One he flies to see. The other he takes the train or he drives. It averages about $500 a trip. I don't travel at all. He thinks that I'm the asshole because I'm willing to risk our marriage over this. If we divorce, we'll have to sell our house as neither of one of us will be able to afford to live to the standard that we have now. Am I the asshole? These are rich people's problems. She said money isn't plentiful. They have $3,000 left after they pay their bills. The way I wish I had $2,000 after my bills were paid. But no, you're not risking your marriage. Your husband is risking his marriage because he thinks he's entitled to money that's not his. He's upset that your girls have money and thinks that they should be helping you. That is ridiculous. He spends $1,500 a year going to travel. That's just the traveling. To go and travel to see his children and his grandchildren. Kyle spends maybe $50 a month in food that he eats there, which is food that they also like. Because she said that he enjoys things that they like. He's a good eater and likes things that are driving up our food, maybe $50 a month. Like, through the course of the year, that's less than $1,000. Excuse me. Okay, somebody did the math. $600 a month versus your $1,500 traveling and whatever the fuck else you spend while you're there. Okay. I guess. Honestly, I feel like if all else fails, the only person that's going to be living a different life is OP's husband. Her daughters are going to take care of her. Like, she's helping one of her daughters as is. She gonna end up living with the fucking daughter, taking care of Kyle full fucking time. Like, are you kidding me? This man is not jealous of a child. He's using the child as a reason because he can't come out and say that I want what your daughters have. I think your daughters should be giving us money. I think we're entitled to a portion of that. So he's got to find some type of reason to piss and moan and complain about it. And he's using the only thing that he can, the child. This motherfucker said, you need to tell me before the 4-year-old comes over because I feel like it's not my home. Bitch, it's never been your home then if you can let a 4-year-old run you out your house. It's never been your home. Like, this man needs to go fucking be single and broke. Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law to please keep her criticisms to herself and eventually for kicking her out of lunch? No. Probably. I don't think so. I don't be thinking nobody the asshole. I remember people used to ask me, do you ever come across stories where you think the people are the asshole? Hell yeah. Those are ones that normally get taken down for harassment and bullying. Those are ones that TikTok don't let me keep up. I, 32 female, am a mom to a beautiful little girl, 6. She's been telling me all about a new cafe that her friend went to, which serves princess cakes. Where is it? I want a princess cake. My mommy calls me princess. She says it's very fancy and people only go for special occasions where they can dress up. I had a look online and they specialize in high teas. Oh, it's a tea house. I want to go. I'm sorry. It looked lovely. It looked lovely, and I knew it would make my daughter happy, so I booked a table. Unfortunately for me, damn, words are getting difficult. Unfortunately for me, this place is brand new and very popular. So while I initially wanted to book for Mother's Day in a couple of weeks, I could only arrange a table for today. I thought we could still do it as an early Mother's Day celebration. So I also invited my mom, 60, and my mother-in-law, 64. My daughter was so excited. She wore her favorite dress and told everyone that she would be just like a princess. It was lovely to share her joy. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, was not so thrilled. Now, it's important to note that while my mother-in-law has a heart of gold, no, she don't. You're not about to manipulate me into believing that this bitch is nice. No. You literally kicked her out of lunch. She's not nice. There's nothing, her heart is not made of gold. That shit is made of plastic. Okay, let me stop. I don't know this woman from a can of paint. All right. They always try to do that. He means well. No, we don't. My mother-in-law has a heart of gold. She is very salt of the earth and quite frugal. I genuinely don't mean this as a criticism. It's just who she is. I'm going to call it a criticism because she's cheap. Frugal, cheap. Despite it being my treat, my mother-in-law insisted that the whole thing was a waste of money. Stay home. That the cakes were beyond ridiculous in their size and it was all a bit pretentious. She's obviously entitled to her opinion, but I could clearly see that her comments were sapping some of my daughter's joy. Even when my daughter said that this is what princesses eat, after a comment about how ridiculous it all looked. My mother-in-law said that princesses would want a proper meal and not something that is fit only to feed birds. Why didn't you just leave? This was not for you. No adult at this table truly expected to get full off of a tea cake. If I go for tea, we're going for sandwiches when we leave. Why? Because I'm hungry and I'm a big bag and I ate 18 of those little cucumber sandwiches and my stomach is still touching my back. Nobody is planning to get full here. We are letting the little princess be a princess for the day. That's what we're doing. We're letting the baby live out her princess dream. She gonna be the only person in the room full because she's fucking 6. She gonna be the only person in the room that's full because she's 6. Us, on the other hand, we gotta go get burritos when we leave here because I'm hungry. I don't know why the fuck they kept giving us hummus and chips. It's not enough. I'm hungry. Eventually, I asked my mother-in-law to accompany me to the bathroom. I asked her to please keep her criticisms and negative comments to herself, that we were trying to have a nice day together. But more importantly, my daughter had been really looking forward to this, and it was difficult for her to enjoy it when someone is constantly acting negative. My mother-in-law said that I was giving my daughter far too much credit. She wouldn't understand half of the criticism. That doesn't mean anything. I'm asking you to fucking stop. That's just like people cursing in front of fucking babies. And then when I tell you to please watch your language around my kids, oh, they don't understand. I don't give a fuck. I asked you to stop. Please stop. It doesn't matter what she understands and what she doesn't. I've asked you to stop. She said my daughter wouldn't understand half of the criticisms. And even if she did, it's important that she understands the value of money. Eventually, I asked her to please leave if she couldn't let my daughter enjoy herself, which is what she did. Now my mother-in-law is telling the family that I cut her out of the Mother's Day celebration because she was too frugal and wouldn't pander to a child. I know that she's being ridiculous, but my husband is saying that I could have just kept the peace for a couple of hours, but instead I chose to act drastically. So your husband is telling you my mother's happiness is more important than that of my wife's and my 6-year-old daughters. He said the family being together is more important than whether someone feels a restaurant is overpriced. Did I act drastically? Was I the asshole? Did you tell the truth? Did you tell the fucking truth? Nobody cut her out of any type of situation. I asked her to stop making comments that was making my baby girl sad. She was no longer happy and smiling the way that she was. My daughter was no longer enjoying herself in something that she was looking forward to doing. So I asked her to stop. And instead of telling me she would stop, she told me she doesn't understand. And if she does, she needs to get it, that some things don't need to be this expensive. So I asked her to leave. My daughter being happy over something that she was looking forward to do will always outweigh how much motherfucking money your mama want to spend. Always. Did you tell the fucking truth? Like, I wish the fuck. I don't understand. I will never understand being at not telling, like, not being able to talk to your partner. Okay, so do you guys remember the story of where this entitled sister-in-law wanted custody of the OP's baby because she had like 3 kids and the sister-in-law couldn't have kids no more, or couldn't have kids at all, and she thought that it was unfair that she had so many kids, so she should just give her one of her children. Yeah. So apparently there's hella updates and I don't even know where we left off. I don't even know where we left off, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna read it because I know we read this one, but I know there's like 2 updates we didn't get to. Okay. Excuse me. We gonna restart it. Excuse me. Okay, so it's the entitled sister-in-law wants custody of my baby. The background information. I, 36 female, and my sister-in-law, 40 female. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years, and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She always felt like I had the life that she wanted, and not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, the family, job stability, things like that. I have 3 kids, 10 female, 8 male, and 3-month-old female. She got married last year, and they decided to start trying for a baby, but she was unfortunately told that she couldn't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated, and the family comforted her as best as we could. We recently had a family dinner, and in the middle of the dinner, she says, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child. So I think you should give her to me during the week so I can create a motherly bond with her and you can have her on the weekends. Before I could even respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once. So I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking her what the hell was wrong with her and why would she even think to ask that. She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcomed at any of my house or around my children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and mother-in-law kept apologizing and they dragged her out of the house still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. So then their edit said that they've got security system installed. They weren't able to get a restraining order. The husband and her spoke to the older kids the same night, and they'll be talking to them again to let them know that the sister-in-law is not a safe person anymore and that their country doesn't have the right to bear arms. So she has no interest in, arming herself, and that they'll be informing the schools and the daycares and then giving them her photo. So if she pops up there, they know not to let the kids go with her. And then we have an update. My sister-in-law has been admitted to a psychiatric facility. In the comments of my previous post, I mentioned that her husband was seeking out counseling for them to deal with the infertility prior to this incident. After the incident, he sought out a psychiatrist rather than a counselor, and they had their first session last week. I didn't get the specifics of what happened, but basically she made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. My brother-in-law has been nothing but apologetic through the entire ordeal, and he kept her away from us since the incident. My mother-in-law was staying with them to keep an eye on my sister-in-law. She tried to leave the house in the middle of the night to go and see her baby, but brother-in-law found her researching how to induce lactation. I forgot about that part. How to induce lactation, and she said it was to make sure she can feed the baby properly when I come to my senses and give her up. From what brother in law has said, seeing me breastfeed is apparently what triggered the entire episode. It was the first time sister in law was around the baby for any length of time, and she was holding her when she got fussy because she was hungry. Naturally, I took the baby to feed her, and this made sister in law feel inadequate because it triggered the thought she would never be able to do that, which led to the events of the last post. I'm grateful for all the advice that was offered on my last post, as some of it was really helpful. We won't be moving as it's not feasible for us in the moment, but we've taken extra steps with security both at home and at the kids' school and daycare. The whole thing is taking a toll on the family. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, and brother-in-law are taking care of my sister-in-law, and my husband and I are focusing on ensuring the safety of our immediate family and minimizing the effect of the kids as much as we can. I haven't seen sister-in-law since the incident happened, and I've also blocked her on all of my socials. My in-laws have been amazing through the entire situation, and they're not sharing any information about it with her. Unfortunately, she still remains fixated on my baby. She tried to find out where the daycare was and even threatened to hurt herself if my in-laws didn't tell her. That's crazy. This led to another stint in the psych ward. She wrote me a letter begging for me to be fair and let her see her baby. I didn't actually receive the letter though. My mother-in-law read it and just gave us the gist of its contents. Sister-in-law's husband is working with her psychiatrist to see how best she can be helped, but he said that he doesn't know how long he can deal with this, but he's giving it 6 months. It's a very sad situation for her, and I had hoped that she would be able to deal with whatever's happening. At this point, we're completely no contact with her. We explained to our older kids that their aunt isn't well, so she won't be around anymore. We still see father-in-law and mother-in-law regularly, so I'm grateful that we didn't have to cut them off. We spent the holidays with my family, and it was all very nice and uneventful. We're still on alert in case she escalates, but the hospital where she's warded isn't near us, and they don't live near us either. So we've accepted this as a new reality, and we're cooperating accordingly. That's so sad. Update 3. Firstly, my family and I are safe. My sister-in-law was eventually released from the hospital to continue outpatient treatment with the psychiatrist, and she's on some meds. My husband met up with her husband, mother-in-law, and father-in-law to get a feel for her mental state. She was very apologetic and seems to understand the issue with her previous behavior. She asked to see the kids and I, but that was of course a no, and my husband let her know that she will have no access to us for the foreseeable future. Since she was discharged, mother-in-law has been awesome about letting us know when she would be at their house so we wouldn't run into her accidentally. Mother-in-law also told my husband a few days ago that sister-in-law has been saying it's hard not being able to see the kids. She told him for the information's sake and not to guilt him into changing our boundaries. Sister-in-law and her husband are looking into migrating to give her some distance in hopes that it will help her healing. I'm hoping the best for her future, but it will be a future without my kids and I in it. I'm glad she's getting better. But I also feel like, but honestly, because at first I felt like her asking to see the kids was just like, maybe she's not getting better, but she, like, she truly understands that she did something wrong, and she truly understands it, then she knows that she does owe her nephews or nieces and niece and nephew apologies. No, though it's not going to happen, she can acknowledge that. Like she could feel bad for like the trauma that she's caused them. And I completely understand and support OP and her husband's decision to keep her away 100%. But like, it could be a situation as to where, she feels bad. She knows that she did something that was wrong, but she could still not be as well as they think she is. Like, it's just one of those things when it comes to mental health, you truly don't know. And I think her husband he is doing a really good job by deciding to, like, maybe by creating some distance, it'll give her a chance to focus on other things, not being around things that constantly remind her, places that she could have taken her nieces or nephews, like, I do think that's a really good idea, deciding to move away. Yeah. But I mean, writing a letter may But that doesn't mean that OP wants her children to to have it at all. You know, like it seems like OP doesn't want her kids to have any type of contact with their aunt anymore. But all right, y'all. I'm tired. I'm getting a slight headache. I got leftover Wingstop that I kind of want to pick at for a little bit. So yeah, it was fun. All right, you guys. I'll be back soon. I don't know when, but I'll be back. I don't know when my next live will be. I don't know. All right. Love you.